So, anyways, can I tell you about my near-death
Tell,
experience now?
tell.
All right. This is going to be a long story.
Ah,
It's a good... What? Wow. Way to act excited.
it's 8:24. We'll see how long it lasts.
Okay. And you won't be disappointed, I promise. So, anyways, I want to say it was the summer between when I was in 11th and 12th grade. And this summer was the best summer of my life because it was just, me and my friends. We were still in high school. We didn't really have any responsibilities. And like every single night that summer, what I would do is I would go over to my friend's house. His name was Corey, and we kind of lived close to each other. And we would drive up to these two other kids' house. One was named Tim, and one was named Joby, and we would play poker. I was addicted to poker. I even wanted to be a professional poker player when I grew up.
Really?
Side note. Yeah, just a side note, though.
Sidebar.
So anyways, me and Corey rode up to these guys' houses, and like I said, I used to live in New York, and they lived right on Lake Ontario, which was a huge lake. I mean, this lake is like, I don't want to, it takes like half the border of the northwestern New York. So, and the other side of it is like Canada. It's one of the Great Lakes. It's pretty much like an ocean, just amazingly huge. So it was actually cool because you had this main lake, and then there was a little bay where Tim and Joby lived. So in this little bay, there was a bunch of different cottages, and the water was nice and calm. So, the lake's kind of rough and choppy, but this bay was nice and calm, so you could like swim around and stuff. So anyways, we went up there, and it must have been like 1 or 2 a.m. because, we just thought it was cool to stay up late. And the poker tournaments usually lasted around like 3 hours, so we usually got done at like 4 a.m. So we start playing, and me and Tim, we lose like in the first 20 minutes. So, like I said, I rode up there with Corey, so I have no ride home. So I'm like, all right, I'm not sitting here for like 2.5 hours. I need to go do something. So me and Tim, it's summer. We decided to go out and go swimming because, what else are you going to do? So basically, we decided to go swimming in this little bay, and we wanted to swim across the bay. Now, here's the bay, and here's the main lake. Across the bay is about 2 miles, and they have cottages all around here. Their houses are over here, and he had a cousin, which was on the other side. So it was a 2-mile swim from here to there. And all summer long, we were talking about it because, I always grew up with a pool, and he, his backyard is a lake. So we're like, you know what? We're kind of cocky and arrogant, and we were like, you know what? We know how to swim. It's 2 miles, but I think we can do it. So that night, we were like, we got nothing to do. So we finally took off our clothes. We had just our boxers on, and we were like, you know what? F it. Let's just do it. So it was like 1:30 in the morning, and we start swimming across the bay in the dead of the night. So it was kind of choppy.
Freestyle.
Freestyle. So it was kind of choppy, but, we're like, all right, this isn't that bad. So anyways, we get about a quarter of the way across, and I'm just getting tired, and the waves are getting bigger, and I'm like, Tim, I don't think I can make this. And he's like, come on, just a little bit further. I'm tired too. So he's like urging me to go on. So then I go on, and we're like almost halfway through, and I was like, Tim, seriously, I'm super tired now. By now, the waves are getting pretty big. I mean, they're breaking. I'm starting to like choke on them. And he's like, yeah, we definitely can't make this. So we're like, all right, we need to turn back. So we turn back, and we start swimming back towards Joby's house so we can, we won't die. So anyways, about 10 minutes of swimming back, we can realize we're not moving at all. We're just sitting there in the middle of a bay because the current's bringing us out, and we're trying to move in. So we finally realized this, so we decided, all right, we're not going to get back. So what we need to do is we just need to suck it up. We need to go with the current and make it all the way across. So that's what we start doing, and again, the waves are just growing bigger and bigger. So we decided to, go for it. So as we're going across, we find ourselves moving more and more
Into
towards
the middle of Lake Ontario.
Yeah, towards like the big lake. And if we get out of this bay, then we are screwed. We're pretty much, out of luck. I mean, we're pretty much goners.
Dead.
So basically, as we're trying to swim straight across, the current is pulling us, bending us towards this lake, and we're getting scared. So we're saying, all right, we just need to get to the shore as soon as possible. We're freaking out. And by now, I'm choking on the water. It's going up my nose. and me and Tim start to get separated. And if you've ever been in a wave pool, then, you know, sometimes you're up on the wave, then you can see people, and when you're down, you really can't see anything. Me and Tim get separated, and it's only when, like, I'm up on the waves and I could see, like, little pieces of them. So I'm, like, looking for them and find them. And by the way, we are out, like, a mile out into the bay right now. So it's not like I could scream and anyone would hear me. I couldn't even hear him. It was super loud. And it's not like anyone's looking out there. It's like 2 in the morning and just my little head. So I'm panicking. I can't see Tim anymore. We're separated. And I saw this one light pole on one of the cottages. And I'm like, all right, I'm swimming towards that light pole. I know that's shore right there. I want to keep in a straight line. So I start swimming towards this light, like for 5 minutes, look up, I'm farther away from the light. I'm like, oh man, this is not good. I start swimming towards the light, I'm farther away from the light. So I'm just keep getting farther and farther away. I have no idea where my friend is. I'm out here, the waves are pounding over my head, and I'm almost out of the bay. So like I said, there was a bay with cottages all around it, and I remember seeing this. I remember swimming towards the shore, seeing cottages. Swimming towards the shore, seeing cottages. Then next time I look up, nothing. I don't see anything. There's no more cottages, and it finally pulled me out until the main lake. So from now, I'm just flipping out, and it seems like God like dumped an energy drink into the lake because they're just like beating me upside the head, and I couldn't breathe. And before it was just like they were getting in my nose and mouth, and I couldn't breathe, and I was tired. Well, now the waves were huge, and they're pulling my entire body under the water.
How long has this been?
It was a long time. We were in there for a super long time, and I don't even know. But I mean, I'm sure it seemed longer than to me, but I can't believe how long we were out there. So basically, after trying to swim back in the main lake for 20 minutes, it's pulling me out there like stronger than I ever could. So this was the most exhausted I have ever been in my entire life, and I'm not exaggerating. So finally, after, you know, getting slammed and slammed, I finally just gave up, and I realized that, you know what, I'm not going to make it back to shore. And that was the only time in my life that I told myself, you know what, I'm going to die. I'm going to die here out in the middle of the lake. It was between 11th and 12th grade.
So, like 17?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
God, that's a young age to have to do that.
I know, it was crazy.
Were you accepting of it, or were you like, no, F this?
Well, by then, I mean, I've been trying for like hours to get back, and I finally made it out into the main lake, which was like death zone. So by now, I'm just like, this is suck. But I will tell you this. I don't want to spoil the ending, but I ended up living. So that's good.
Oh, wow.
And not to give it away.
Okay, so I'm not sitting with a ghost right now.
Exactly. But anyways, not to spoil that. But anyways, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to die, and this is how it's going to be. And that was the only time in my life I told myself that, and it was a crazy feeling. So anyways, I just laid my head back, and I started to float. And again, the waves were coming over my face. And whenever you lay your head back in water, like in a bathtub, it's not like your head's above water. Pretty much everything is under the water except a little face right here.
And your mouth.
Yeah, so I couldn't like hear anything. My eyes were closed. I couldn't see anything. So anyways, I was doing that for like 20 minutes. No hope whatsoever. And finally, a wave came and it got in my nose. So I brought my head up to cough, and I opened my eyes and I was wiping off my eyes, and I see a light. And not like, oh, I'm going to heaven, a light. It's like a light bulb in the middle of the lake, like miles out. And I'm like, what the heck is that?
Never mind, go on.
So it turns out that somehow, and to this day, I have no idea how, but somehow Tim made it back to the bay before he got out in the lake. And since everyone around there basically had a boat because they were laying on bay, he pounded on someone's door, and he's like, listen, you gotta help me. My friend's out there somewhere. And so this guy had a boat. They took the boat, and they came out and got me. And it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
Was it awesome?
Well, yeah. Then I was like,
I'm not dying.
That was the greatest light I've ever seen in my life.
In your life?
So then we went back, and it was like, it had to have been, well, I know the sun was rising whenever we got back, so it must have been like 5:30 or something. And then you know what we did? Of course, after everything, after a near-life experience.
Played poker?
No, we went to Denny's because
Of course you go to Denny's.
What else are you gonna do?
Grand Slam.
I got a French toast slam.
That's good too.
Good enough.
Good enough.